A rich man got out of his sports car to ask the ice cream man for a photo. No one understood until this man, despite his wealth, made an effort to help people and be a good son. He was born with the absence of his father, but despite that, his mother had always given him all the best. He lived in a completely happy life. He had many friends and even changed cars whenever he wanted, but his goodness did not allow him to continue. The sadness and loneliness of his mother broke her heart. He always saw his mother walk into her reading room and smile when she dried an old painting image stuck in his mind. Sometime later, he sees a poor ice cream man offering his products, and when he notices who he is, he breaks his sports car very quickly. Then he ran over and asked for a photograph with him. The real reason you will know coming up. Victor Bodding was the name of that gentleman who passed through the neighborhoods and houses every day. Then, blowing his trumpet, all the excited children leaned out the window and shouted, "Mom, can you buy me an ice cream?" This man was loved not only by the children, but also by the elders because they had grown up, but as children, they had also tasted the flavors of his ice cream. Victor has been in the business for a long time, exactly since he was a child. His father had taught him the trade, an old recipe that his ancestors left him, and that today is a delight for those who try it. When he was young, he worked at his father's stand and thousands of tourists came to taste such rich, creamy ice cream. It's there that he fell in love with a beautiful tourist who amazed him, seemed almost unattainable to even converse with such a beautiful young woman. But when he achieved it, then he understood that the sky is the limit, because his love was reciprocated. They lived a very deep summer romance. They swore eternal love. But the problem was that the summer ended and he never ever saw such a nice young lady again while she was only in that town for tourism. And her rich parents were not going to allow those youngsters to stay together. Some time later, Mr. Victor's father passed away, and with him, all the dreams he had had. The store and everything they had been achieving was closing. He had to sell even the house where they lived. Loneliness played a trick on Victor, who had, little by little, ended up running out of money and had already become an older man. With a little he had left, he bought an ice cream cart, and thus he was able to subsist with the sale of said products. On the other hand, Mariana and Victor's ex-girlfriend, who was his summer love, and they swore eternal love, had a son, but a son without a father, being an only child. Her parents, little by little and over the years, fell due to old age, and she became the heiress of a large fortune. Her beloved son, Matteo, grew up with the best comforts and came to have the best education. His mother always consented to everything and at the same time put a heavy hand. She was mother and father to him. She taught him what love for his neighbor is, and also she taught him to be kind and helpful. In short, she had spent her entire life taking care of her little Matteo, who had already grown into a man over the years. Matteo was a very happy man. He traveled a lot and had everything a boy could wish for: fame, money, and fortune, in addition to a big heart, always obedient and faithful to his principles. One day he stopped to think about life, how wonderful his mother had been and how wonderful it was to have her. She was already becoming an old woman, but a very lonely old woman. He could see the sadness that came over her every time he had to go out or travel to a meeting for a few days. That day he thought about what he could do to make his mother happy. He took her on a trip to the best places in the world, but it wasn't enough. The best restaurants weren't enough either. Nothing, absolutely nothing he could do to make her smile stay long on her face. Suddenly he remembered that his mother always entered her, reading early and opening her dresser. She took a picture in her arms that she squeezed and made her smile. One day, Matteo went secretly and saw that image. It was a man who was hugging her, and they were both drawing a smile on their hands. Is this her young love? Is it my father? He thought. But God and destiny would come together to do something incredible. Well, one day Matteo had bought a new super sports car and was driving it to the outskirts of the city, where the distances were longer, to test a good racing engine. But he had inadvertently forgotten his water bottle. That's why he went to a nearby town to be able to buy one, because he was thirsty. As he was driving at full speed, he noticed a man selling ice cream, but the most incredible thing was that he was identical to the man his mother had in the photograph. That's why he slammed on the brakes, making a big noise and drawing many people's attention. That ice cream man turned to see him, and Matteo only managed to open his door and run towards this man. Not to buy ice cream, no, but to ask for a photo. All the people were amazed. Well, why would a millionaire man want a picture with Victor, a sad ice cream vendor? People were shocked by this. Matteo sent a photo of that man via WhatsApp to his mother, who when she saw it, just said, "Son, where are you? Please hold that man and don't move." Matteo shared his location with his mother, and Mrs. Mariana arrived with her driver to the place where Matteo was. The boy was very surprised, of course. Couldn't believe that the man in the photograph was the one who started a relationship with his mother years ago. But when his mother approached, she only managed to say, "Victor Botten, is that you, Mariana?" The man asked as his eyes widened. "Little by little, I've waited all my life to find you," Victor told her, and Mariana just cried, hugging him. "Matteo, this is your father," Mariana told him. "I have searched for him for years and I've never found his whereabouts because his old house had been sold when I started looking for him. When we parted ways in the winter, I realized the son I was expecting in my womb. My parents very classic. They locked me in the house and did not allow me to see the street for many years. Even day and night, when I had the opportunity to go out, I looked for you. But the truth is that I was not successful. I've had to wait almost 30 years to see you again, and it was your own son who found you." People cannot believe that the ice cream man they saw passing by every day was the father of a powerful millionaire businessman. Everyone applauded as they reunited. Family embraced. Matteo never again saw his mother without smiling. They got married and they even set up a large ice cream store where the spouses entertained themselves preparing the most delicious ice creams. This is how life, sometimes sooner or later, gives you what you deserve. But it arrives. Never doubt and do not lose faith, because God always puts everything according to his ways. Maybe you're losing faith in God because of the circumstances in your life. Or maybe you're losing faith in God because you just don't feel his presence anymore. We all have seasons of doubt, and if that's you right now, know that you're not alone. This excerpt from A Better Way Bible plan is for you. First, acknowledge that your feelings are valid. It's okay to feel frustrated when your life isn't going the way you planned. It's even okay to be angry at God when you feel like he isn't listening. Often the path to intimacy is paved with honesty. So if you're losing faith in God, start by telling him about it. He won't shame you or condemn you. He'll meet you right where you are in your doubt, your resentment, and all your feelings. He's a good father and he cares about your concerns, so be honest. He can handle it. It's easy to confuse work for Jesus with the way of Jesus, but there's a big distinction we need to remember. Secondly, remember that your faith isn't supposed to be a spiritual checklist earning you God points for a job well done. It's easy to confuse work for Jesus with the way of Jesus, but there's a big distinction we need to remember. You are not God's employee.